Alrighty, here we go. Alright, we're live, baby. Alrighty, everybody. Hello there. Hope you all can hear me pretty well. Yeah, my mic is working. And, yeah, today the Kumo Sensei, am here to actually discuss about anime, which is kind of strange because I don't usually talk about anime, but I have to because let me fix this webcam here. It's kind of janky. There it goes. Alrighty. But now that we're here, I would like to give some time for everybody to hop on in if they can, because I'm going to be we're going to be discussing anime. And I know it's kind of strange because it's been a long while since I've done anything anime related because I've been focusing on my business and also trying to get things going. But it's been a very long time since I last talked about anime, like just a full-on live stream of just anime, because recently I've been using it for my work and things like that. But this one, I really would like to talk about some anime because I have a bit of, I don't want to say it's hot takes, but it's some opinions, I guess. Not bad, but very concerning, honestly. So I'm going to give everybody a bit of time to try to hop on into this live stream, and then we can discuss from there. And my hair, I really got to do something about it real quick. It is not looking so great, but don't mind me, everyone. But this live stream isn't going to be the most longest live stream because I really would like to finish up some work at 1 o'clock. So it's going to be about an hour live stream, maybe an hour 15 minutes at most. But welcome to this live stream, and yes, we're already going to be talking about anime, but I would like to give everybody some time to hop on in because I have some, oh boy, I'm going to be discussing. That's all I'm going to say. And look, I do not usually stream on Tuesdays or on the weekdays, more on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. But the reason why I'm streaming today is because this is something that has been obviously been concerning to me about anime in general, but more so frustrating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some animation quality, some animes that I've hyped up that went downhill in quality, and then we're going to look at the production and staff and things like that. And what I'm going to do is basically give you my honest opinions and like basically raise an eyebrow to myself and maybe to you viewers who are watching. And that is currently what I'm going to be doing today. And basically we're going to be discussing about where to go from there. And yes, I sound very serious because I do have a lot of things I really want to say, because this is anime after all. This is one of the things I'm very passionate about, and pretty much one of the reasons why I started getting into stage acting and voice acting as well, even though stage acting is more so of a coincidence rather than actual anime influenced. But you get the gist though. It's very personal to me in a way, but not too personal to where like I'm a diehard fan. Well, actually I'm an anime historian, so in a way I am kind of a diehard fan. But yeah, without further ado, everybody, I'm gonna be talking about some stuff. So yeah, let's get straight into the one and only website, my anime list. Yes, we're hopping on here, baby, and I'm hopping on here because I really just need to use something as a preference to show like what shows I'm talking about, things like that. And basically I like my anime list as well because it does include staff, the people behind the scenes, and people who work on production. So this is just for further context for us, essentially. So I'm going to be talking about some animes that some series that I like that I think have really bad animation. So this is the reason why we're doing this anime talk live stream here, because I really needed to get this off my chest. So yeah, I'm going to give everybody a bit more time to hop on here, but if nobody hops on here, I don't really care because I really just need an outlet to discuss my personal opinions about anime in general. So this is going to be very interesting, quote unquote. I don't know exactly how it's going to go for this live stream, or if it's going to be a long one, a short one, or things like that. It's more so just a live stream I really just want to chill out here, I guess. And let me actually fix that because I think I put the time here wrong. Yeah, the timing is wrong, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. Give me a second, everybody. Alright. Did I? Oh boy, that's pretty interesting. So I actually marked this as the wrong time. I'm going to fix this. Give me a second, everybody. Schedule for 11:45. I guess that's why nobody's on here. Time. Well, let us put this on the Discord real quick. Give me a second. A bit of an oopsie there. Okay. Give me a second. Alrighty. Okay. Now live. But anyhow, though, back to what I'm saying. Okay, now that we're back, good. Okay, so sorry everybody, there was a bit of a miscourse here, but we got the live stream back on. But anyhow, though, hello there, Davic, or Davic. I think I'm gonna call you Dave just to be a bit more comfortable on my end. But the reason why I'm making this live stream is really because I'm very frustrated at the animation quality of like the recent shows that I've really enjoyed, or the series I actually like. So this live stream is essentially not me roasting the series, but essentially just giving my personal thoughts, and we're gonna look into the staff and basically go into detail about that. So really, we're gonna start with one of the ones I've been hyping forever, which is Junji Ito's Uzumaki. And where is the anime? Here, the Uzumaki anime. So this is the first one I really want to discuss because this to me is kind of, how should I say it? It's it's one that's the most personal to me because I'm a big fan of horror anime and the horror medium when it comes to anime and basically Japanese culture, because I really do think that there is a lot of potential here, but it's just not it is just not realized in my personal opinion. So that is the reason why I'm talking about this, because if you've seen the news and the reviews of everybody discussing about Uzumaki here, you do know that its animation quality has gone downhill, because you can kind of see the user score here, which is 6.32% or 6.32, and basically it's saying it's a bad series. So yes, I understand people's frustrations of like the series being bad, but I really love Junji Ito's works. I actually think it's like one of a kind. I don't think anything comes close to it in terms of Junji Ito and his, I don't know, his take and art style, quote unquote. And as a matter of fact, he inspired a lot of other artists in their art styles as well. But it's frustrating to me because episode 1 is actually really good, but every other episode is not so great, which is kind of the frustrating part. And I don't know why that is, because, well, I do know why. It's part of the reason why is because of the staff. The staff is not, from what I understand, the production side of things are. I mean, there was comments saying that they didn't have enough time, or that was basically on crunch time, which is very interesting because they've been hyping this up for a very, very, very long time. So, excuse me. So why I find this so kind of infuriating is the fact that they basically have so much time to do this and that, but for some reason, the overall production or the overall quality of this show has gone downhill since episode 1. I still do think episode 1 is a masterpiece because they use a bit of a 3D rotoscoping, which gives this like very Junji Ito unique style and feel to the show when episode 1 released. Episode 2 is when things started really going downhill. Now, overall though, I do think Uzumaki is a good show, but I wouldn't say it lived up to the hype, because man, they, especially episode 4, because it's going around with the whole JPEG thing. if you've seen episode 4's animation, the part where Saito falls down the tower spiral and whatnot, it is pretty bad. And that's the reason why I'm discussing about this, because it's just, oh God, it is so infuriating, honestly. And I know that a lot of people might not like Uzumaki, or it might not be their style, but to me personally, I like Uzumaki a lot. And I like Junji Ito's works. I think his works are amazing. It's just, God, it is so frustrating. Because I was one of those people that stood behind this show saying it's going to be one of a kind. It is one of a kind, don't get me wrong, but man, does it kind of fall flat on execution. And it's funny because a lot of these, okay, let's put it into this perspective. So okay, let me say this. It's strange because it seems like a lot of these bad animes that have been coming out recently are all somewhat tied to Adult Swim. Maybe it's my tinfoil hat here coming on, but it really seems like that. Because if we look at shows like this one here that we're looking at right now, when in regards to the staff production and whatnot, such as Uzumaki here, Uzumaki, the animation production was backed by Adult Swim. And if you look at Ninja Kamui, which that show is really bad, in my personal opinion, Ninja Kamui was also backed by Adult Swim. So really, it's starting to make me think, like, is it really production fault? Is it really the production and staff's fault why the show is bad? Or is it really because Adult Swim has something to do with it? It really raises eyebrows, but I just don't know where to put it. I feel like there is blame to be had everywhere, but it cannot be denied that the animation quality of like the shows I really like when it comes to the series overall have gone downhill. And it's not. I really just think it's the animes. I don't even think like if I read the mangas and stuff, it's fine. It's great. God tier. For example, the Seven Deadly Sins. I actually think the manga is amazing. Well, except towards the end, and then the anime comes out with the Escanor versus Meliodas fight, and then it's bad. You know, you get what I'm saying. It's really, if you really think about it, it really comes down to the animation, and it's really frustrating. So that's the reason why I'm talking about this, because I am just so agitated. I really like Tower of God, for example, but season 2 is bad. Even I will not deny that. I really think the animation quality for the Tower of God season 2 is bad, but I will get into that later. But right now, we're focusing on Uzumaki because his user score is 6.32, and it's understandable because Uzumaki's art style and its animation style is not for everyone. But I will not deny that the CGI can be a bit wonky as heck, especially episode 4. If you watch Uzumaki, everyone knows what I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure everyone has seen Uzumaki episode 1 at least, because episode 1 was very much hyped. But like, I'm going to look at the staff here because I think the voice actors are all amazing. Even both English sub, dub, like the English voice actors and the Japanese voice actors are all very well matched. I do not have a problem at all. It really is just the staff here. So we're going to look into the staff real quick, and I'm just going to see maybe if there's anything gone wrong here. So we're going to start with basically, you know, the producer here. So the producer is basically in charge of basically not necessarily like directing, but basically in charge of like the staff in a way, but choosing who and recommending things like that. So, well, with that Fully Coolly Progressive, I thought that was pretty decent. So who's this? Terashima Furata. Or Maki. Maki Terashima? Okay. So it's kind of funny because a lot of these, like, wow, she's been a producer for a while. That is pure, for sure. That's pure facts. If you look at here, executive producer, co-producer. So she's known for producing, I guess. But a lot of these series, I'm not, like, too familiar. Ooh. Abunai Sisters. This is a meme. This whole... Yeah. So, okay, she's only in charge of dialogue editing for this. So for those who don't know, Abunai Sisters is one of the worst rated series of all time on my anime list, and basically one of the worst animes ever produced. It's kind of a meme at this point, but it's pretty funny how she has something involved in this. That's pretty interesting. But I'm not gonna lie though, some of her works is pretty decent, such as Fully Coolly, Alternative, and Progressive. And the rest of these, I am not too familiar with. I know Be the Beginning was a decent series, but is not for me personally. So, is it the producer's fault? I really don't know. Hiroshi Nagahama, my friend, we meet again. I love this guy because he is amazing when it comes to a romance series. I really still give him credit for, what you call it, Kimi no Todoke. Ah, he's even right here too. I didn't, wow, that's funny. So this guy here has real meat on his bones. Okay. Wow, this guy is amazing. Kimi no Todoke, Guilty Crown, Mushishi, Fruits Basket. Well, the OG Fruits Basket is not that great actually, but ew. Okay, Flowers of Evil is actually pure garbage doo-doo. The manga is good though. The anime just sucks. Wow, Ima Soko no Iru Boku. Okay, so this. Okay, yeah, actually, that's interesting. So this guy actually has decent like works under his belt. It's kind of surprising how like I don't see any red flags in the staff here, but for some reason the Uzumaki anime is not so great. Let's look at Yuji. He's the director here. So for those who don't know, if you're directing an anime, you're basically in charge of basically putting the pieces together. You know, you basically like, you gotta do this, do that. I'm gonna be choosing who's voicing this and that. So, see, it's frustrating because look at Yuji Moriyama's works. Classroom the Elite, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. You know, Oran High School Host Club, Kuzuno Honkai or Scum's Wish. Even Katana Gatari, which is Katana Gatari. Like, how? It's funny how, man, I am so mad in a way, but I'm not saying, okay, I don't know, look, I have so many thoughts in my head right now, I don't know how to get it together about the anime I've been watching recently. It's frustrating. We're not going to talk about the sound director here, because I think, the sound and the overall sound quality was pretty decent. I wouldn't even say it's bad, but it's funny how you got like all these amazing voice actors and voice actresses and seiyus and things like that, and pretty solid staff all around, quote unquote. But yet we have a 6.32 show that, in my opinion, should have been higher, at least a 7.5 if I'm being, well, maybe I'm being biased. But let us discuss about okay. Let me discuss about my honest opinions about Uzumaki overall. So I actually think this show is actually, despite having terrible CGI, goofy JPEG, Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel moving stuff, basically I'm saying the animation is pretty bad. I actually still do think this series is enjoyable to watch because it has a very uncanny feel to it. So I will give credit where credit is due. And I still do recommend watching Uzumaki because there's nothing like it. Like, I really can't put any, like, I can't compare it to anything else. It's a one-of-a-kind show, in my honest opinion, in a one-of-a-kind series, because this is Junji Ito we're talking about here. But the reason why it frustrates me is because even though I still do enjoy it, the reason why I find it so frustrating is because it had so much more potential than what it got treated like to. And I feel like if you read the manga, you will feel my frustration because the manga is actually like this amazing, well-paced series. The anime, not so much. So a lot of people will be anime only if we're being completely transparent here. So I don't think anybody's gonna waste their time actually reading the manga if they're watching this show, because they just want to save time, obviously. So I find it frustrating because they're gonna be watching this and gonna be like, yeah, Uzumaki kind of sucks, but it really doesn't. You just need to read the manga. Like, the manga is really good. But my god, Adult Swim had so many years to produce this. Because, let me explain. When Uzumaki was announced, it was announced not like a very long time ago at this point. But it's frustrating to me because, like, yeah, they had all this time to actually get things together. But it seems like all the effort was put into episode 1 only, and not on everything else. As the animation production staff, you really want to, I don't want to say spread your resources thin, but you really want to work at multiple projects at the same time, but little by little, you know, so you don't kill yourselves, obviously. And I find it frustrating because it seems like they put too much work into episode 1 to try to get that aesthetic in, and not focus on trying to make it a overall consistent. That's the right word I'm looking for. Consistent. It's the consistency that's been lacking. Oh my god, that's the right word I've been thinking of for this whole time. Because episode 1 is all the way up here, and then 2, 3, and then 4. Well, 4 is a little bit down here, but you get what I'm saying. So this is why I find it so frustrating, because I hyped this up to everyone on my stream, like, and on Twitter too, and on Discord. Like, oh man, I feel so bad. I've hyped this up to everyone, saying this is going to be a great show, only to be everybody sending me emails saying it's not that great as I thought it would be. But understand that it is really a production issue at this point, not necessarily, I would say, quote unquote, you know, this person or that person's fault. There's blame to go around, but I really do think this show has so much more potential. Do I think this user score justify it? It's understandable, but I personally would give it a higher score. Now, I do want to talk about some other shows that I've watched from the past anime season or two that that really just grinds my gears. And I mentioned it earlier, but we're going to talk about the next show now, because the next show I'm talking about is Tower of God Season 2. Well, there's the first season. Maybe you'll lose a Season 2. Alright, let's talk about Tower of God Season 2. And then let me give you my honest opinions about manga anime adaptations, because I'm going to go super hard on this show. So, Uzumaki, I gave it a bit of a pass because it's one of a kind, in a way. But this show, I'm going to absolutely roast for a second. And don't hate me for saying this. I actually think Tower of God Season 2, the anime sucks. Okay? And let me give you... Okay, the reason why I say it sucks is because the animation quality has gone downhill just drastically. And this is something I've noticed, but when it comes to manhwa, donghua, anime adaptations, they're always so bad. And it infuriates me because very few of them are good. Unless you're Shimoneta... was it Shimoneta Outcast or something? Hold up. What was it called? Something Outcast. There it goes. Yiren Jixia. I think this animation style here for 2016 was very solid. The only non-manga anime adaptation that was pretty good. Every time when there's an anime adaptation of like every single time when there is an anime adaptation of a manhwa or donghua. So let me just clarify. What is a manhwa and what is a donghua for those people who are new or don't know stuff about mangas and stuff? Manhwa and donghua is basically just Korean manga and Chinese manga. But the problem is that when anime studios in Japan adapt these type of series, I say 90% of the time they're bad or they're outright dog shit. Just saying. So allow me to explain why I actually am shitting on Tower of God Season 2, even though I love Tower of God out of the big three when it comes to manhwa. And so okay, what is the big three? If you've been a long time manhwa fan, there are 3 Korean comics, or manhwa quote unquote, that stood out above the rest from way back when. And those 3 were Noblesse, Tower of God, and God of High School. This is way long ago, before a lot of you may have started watching anime. So those 3 are basically the equivalent of Japan's Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, if you want to do a comparison. That's how big they were. And for some god-awful reason, the anime adaptations, in my personal opinion, all sucked. Well, I feel like in terms of animation quality, God of High School was the best, but the pacing of it was terrible. But of the 3 though, Tower of God, God of High School, and Noblesse, I actually enjoyed Tower of God the most, because it was the most different of them all. The problem is that when the anime adaptation came around, it was pretty dog shit. The first season was fine, I'll give them that. It was not great, but it was passable. But it really frustrates me because Season 2 is bad. There is no denying that. I mean, I'm not even talking about animation at this point. We're talking about a bit of it is. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin because I love manhwa, but I'm not gonna lie. When I see bad adaptation, I'll tell you it's bad adaptation, and this is a case of bad adaptation. Because I think the reason why it's so difficult is because you need to understand that when it comes to manhwa's illustration panels are not like manga. Because you know how manga has like multiple split panels, and there's like something happening within each panel and whatnot. This isn't the case. Manhwa is more of is more Western comic style. If I had to do a comparison, it's like if you combine Marvel comics with Japanese manhwa. I mean Japanese manga to an extent, and then you'll get manhwa and dongwa. And I think this is what makes it so hard for adaptations, anime adaptations for shows like these. Is really because the manhwa style is very dynamic. It's like this, while manga is more compact. And this is I think this is one of the reasons why season 2 was so bad, is because basically if you read the manhwa for Tower of God for season 2 in this arc or this part or this season, quote unquote, and you read the manhwa, it is very dynamic focused and less of commentary, less speaking, more action. And you can even tell you read the panels, it is very action focused. Same thing for Solo Leveling, and I think Solo Leveling is going to suffer from that, especially. Oh boy, I really want to see how Solo Leveling do. But this frustrates me because even though this anime came out last season, I believe, was it last season? Time flies. Yeah, it was last season. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I recently just caught up and finished it because I didn't watch the last 2 episodes, and it's just bad. Hello there, Mikey. Hope everything's going well. You should pull example of screenshots. Actually, I will do that, actually. Hold up. Let me open this image in a new tab. I don't want to get... Hold up, everybody. Give me a second. I really need to explain how manhwa works because I think a lot of you are not familiar with manhwa. So, hold up. So this is basically what I mean when I talk about like manhwa and things like that. We're going to talk about Blue Lock Season 2. I'm saving that for towards the end because I have opinions about that as well. So for those who are unfamiliar with manhwa, this is what I'm talking about. It is not... Manhwa doesn't focus, or it doesn't work like manga does. Action scenes in manhwa are always dynamic. It's always, boom, hit, you feel it. This is why I really like manhwa a lot from manga. Because, like, manga, like, is more of a dramatic... You know, it's more of a dramatic approach. But manhwa is more dynamic. It's like, hit. And this is the thing you need to understand that makes manhwa so different from manga. It's not just because it's like it's not because it's just a Korean manga. It's more than that. It's basically at this point its own thing. So it's just frustrating to see when you see very poor anime adaptations. Manhwa is more closely like comics than it is to manga. But you'll start getting there though. Like, if you're not into the whole manhwa stuff. Manhwa is not for everyone, I will admit that. Because, to be honest, at times, there's more action scenes than dialogue. If I'm being completely frank. So, I hope that gets my point across for, you know, this. Because I feel like everyone in this staff has failed. The voice acting is good, though. For, like... I still do think the voice acting for the dub and sub is good. It's just the production staff, man. No, I have not. I stopped reading manhwa a very long time ago. It's really just because I feel like manhwa's okay. I have a very, I don't want to say biased take, but a very. I said this last time. I'll say it again. I think manhwas nowadays is too focused on trying to create a banger story and not focusing enough on creating a good ending. Almost every manhwa I've read has a really bad ending. I'll switch it up later, Mikey, because I don't want to go too off topic, because really this live stream is just talking about animation quality and why it's gone downhill. So I'm going to move my chat more towards like this, I guess. Oh, hold up. Let me fix my chat real quick. No. Yeah, I'll just move it over here for now. Okay, there it goes. But really, I'm making this live stream. It's not because I'm just crapping on these anime. It's really because I'm talking about the animation quality. Because it is 2024 here, and I understand that there are deadlines and things to be met. But if we're trying to actually like watch a good series, it should be delivered. I'm not saying it has to be top tier anime of all time. It just needs to be consistent to an extent. Like, the animes I'm discussing today are not consistent. Uzumaki, for example, episode 1 was good, the rest was not consistent. You know, it couldn't maintain that. Same thing for Tower of God Season 2. I feel like Season 1 was much more better than Season 2, which is kind of annoying. But I will discuss about Blue Lock now, Season 2, because I actually do think where's right here. So we're gonna talk about Blue Lock now. What more do I need to say? If everyone has seen the clips roaming around Blue Lock Season 2, it is bad. It is bad. Read the manga. Oh my god, that's all I'm gonna say. I really just recommend people just go read it at this point. And oh my god, this is such a big drop off. I think I need to explain. Okay, let's say this is the character and this is the ball. Okay, guys, the ball is moving, but the characters are not. It's like, ha! That's how everything is looking like right now in Blue Lock Season 2. You cannot deny that this is basically Blue Lock Season 2. It is really just the ball that's moving on a flat image. So it's frustrating. Like this animation is godly bad. The ball was an emoji. Yes, that's the best way to explain it. But I just don't understand why. Because, okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Because I feel like if you look at old school anime, even though there was some bad animation choices or bad animation frames in those old school animes, that was a different time. You know what I'm saying? It is 2024. Our animation quality shouldn't be JPEGs, PowerPoints, and stuff like that. It's just so frustrating because Blue Lock, like the first season of Blue Lock, actually had like good or at least decent animation. Season 2 is outright just bad. There is no excuse for that. Like, I feel like look, if you're defending Blue Lock, like the animation quality, I don't know who you are, but if you are, you probably need to reconsider. Because I do think that this manga series, or this series overall, is a decent series. It's just that we're just talking about anime, okay? Not the manga or the source material, just the anime. The anime is bad. Period. Oh my god, let's see if I can pull up an image real quick. Bad animation. Because Man, I need to pull. I need to. I need to find an example, man, because this is outright bad. Well, they don't have any on Google right now, but yeah, god dang it. I coulda. Okay, you can't really compare those two though, Mikey, if I'm being honest. I feel like those are like its own separate things. When it comes to Kuroko's basketball, Kurosuke no Basket, I believe, was it? And Hellsing Ultimate. Hellsing Ultimate is a one-of-a-kind show. Even though it's basically another reimagining of the OG Hellsing. But we cannot deny that these problems are very annoying. Everybody keeps telling me, for some odd reason, that when it comes to the reason why we have such bad anime in terms of animation quality nowadays is because we're using CGI. And I'm going to tell you, this is an actual hot take, but I do not believe that CGI is the reason why animation is going downhill. Yes, CGI can be used to cut corners, but we cannot deny that if CGI is done right, it can be used very well. We've seen it time and time again, like literally. We've seen it in Demon Slayer, we've seen it in the Fate series by Ufotable. Those two are under Ufotable, by the way. We've also seen it in shows like Land of Lustrous. And Land of Lustrous, I think the whole show was CGI, which was like the surprising part. And that show was good. Still waiting for season 2, even though the manga is basically at the end at this point. But I actually don't agree that CGI is the reason why animation quality is poor. It can be, but it's really up to the production staff to actually utilize it to where it's good. I mean, Hosuki no Kuni, Land of Lustrous. Well, maybe I'll type the English title better. I need to pull up Land of Lustrous here. This manga and this anime is one of a kind. There is nothing like it, period. You can't fight me. I would die on that hill. But this series here is one great example of like CGI being done right. And I still see people complain like, oh my god, CGI is bad. CGI is bad if it's used poorly, that is. Many animations are 2D or 3D animation, that is making a lot of things bad. If it's done poorly, yes. If it's done well, then it's passable. Hosuki no Kuni is my go-to example of god tier CGI being used perfectly. If you've never seen this show, you're missing out, man. I remember when this show came out in 2017, everybody was talking about this show and how gorgeous and how this show is ahead of its time. There's no doubt without question. If you want to see a unique anime, quote unquote, this is the series to go to if we're talking about CGI anime. Like, this show is definitely ahead of its time. And I feel like this show is like one great example. And I think Expelled from Paradise is what is it? And I think Expelled from Paradise, Rakuin Tsuiho, this movie here, this is a movie, by the way. I feel like this was basically the precursor of 3D CGI anime. This is a movie, by the way, but this movie here, even though it is a CGI movie, a CGI anime, quote unquote, its CGI holds up better than 99% of CGI animes today. And this came out 10 years ago, in 2014. Like, can you believe that, guys? By the way, search up this movie's OST. Like, this movie has the best OST of all time. I still do listen and sing this OST, because the OST is really good. The piano versions are good too, by the way. But I really don't think it's CGI. And I know that a lot of these modern issues is, some people say CGI, but it really isn't. It's really just bad production. No offense to the people behind the staff in that. They do work hard, and I understand that anime studios are underpaid when it comes to the animators, their staff, and things like that. But you can't just like, it still doesn't ignore the fact that you put out something that has poor of quality, if you understand what I'm saying. But coming back in though, Blue Lock. But coming back in though, I really do think that CGI, if it's utilized well, which in this case for Blue Lock it wasn't, if it's utilized well, it could definitely be done right. Demon Slayer 2 in a good way. Okay, I think here's like, I really do think that Demon Slayer and Studio Ufotable, even though they're still in debt because of tax exemptions they've been avoiding, I really do think that they can actually, I don't want to say they're the future, but they're doing a good job as of now. But who knows? The future is still up in airs. Huh. Chainsaw Man. Yes, we're not going to talk about Chainsaw Man today. I don't want to get too off topic because I really just want to talk about anime and animation quality today. So I don't want to go too off topic because my frustration is coming from the fact that I've been watching anime for so long, and at this point, you don't need to me personally, you don't need like god tier animation quality to have a good series. You just need to have it consistent to an extent. And this is an example of not being consistent. And there is a new manhwa that's getting an anime adaptation. So we are going to look into that actually for our seasonal animes here. It was announced, so we're going to scroll down and look for it because I had some extreme hot takes on that too. I forgot what's it called. It was announced. We just gotta find it. Let me look for it real quick. Okay, where are you, my friend? Sorry, I'm gonna look. I'm scrolling for it because it was announced, so it should be posted here now, but I don't know exactly what it's called. I actually disagree with that, Mikey, but I would say they're about the same at this point if we want to compare the two, Mikey. There was a manhwa anime adaptation announcement. I forgot what it was. I'm just trying to find it because it's just been announced. And everybody is so concerned about it. Even I am too, for valid reasons, quote unquote. Alright, my friend. Don't ask how. Mikey, you're not on my level when it comes to hentai, period. Don't even go there. I even said that at one point, if we ever hit, was it 4,000 or 6,000 subs, I'll do a stream talking about hentai. Because I promise you, none of you guys are on my level when it comes to hentai, but that's a discussion for another day. But I'm currently looking for. I don't see it. Well, I don't see it, but it was announced though. So basically, it was a manhwa that was Basically, there was a manhwa that was announced for an anime adaptation, and I forgot the studio that was behind it, but that was basically roasting. Oh, everyone was basically roasting it, saying that it's not going to live up. And honestly, it's not. I don't see it on here, which is kind of interesting, I guess. I was like, if I see the title, it will immediately hit my head, but I don't see it. Bro is a H anime enjoyer. Well, see, I don't watch hentai because I think watching hentai is a waste of time. I just rather read it or play the visual novels, the iroge or otoge or light novel or the manga of a hentai. I don't watch hentai because I think watching hentai is just poor animation and it's a waste of time. And as a matter of fact, if you didn't know, a lot of hentais back then, even a lot of them now, are voiced by males. They're voiced by dudes. Even the ladies are voiced by dudes. So if you didn't know, now you know. Like, I can actually make a whole... I'm still waiting for that live stream to happen, actually. A live stream where I'm just talking about 18 plus mangas and things like that. because you guys are so uneducated. It's honestly a joke. not trying to be mean, but just saying. Just saying. But I can't find it though, huh? Flavors of Youth. Wow, that's the best you got. I got more than that, my friend. Well, I can't find it, but I will say this though. Animation quality has gone downhill. Because it's frustrating because I really wanted to talk about the series, but I don't see it on here. Maybe I missed it, but I really just don't see it. But my opinions, it's just my opinions. You don't have to agree with me, but we can all agree that there is a concerning discourse when it comes to animation production quality of recent times. Because like, if we're talking about, okay, here's the thing. If we're talking about old school animes, listen up. Old school animes, people will say their animation quality was bad back then. But yes, it was kind of poor because production staff and everything, even the budget to create anime was much more lower back then. So obviously animation back then was going to be much more poor. But you cannot deny that even the animes back then was consistent. Like to an extent, like from episode 1 through episode 12 or whatever episode. Modern animes nowadays, there are not like that. It's usually the first 1 to 4 episodes that are pretty decent in animation quality, and then everything else just goes downhill. I cannot be the only person who's seeing that trend now when it comes to animes nowadays. I can't be the only one. Because even shows like from like the 2000s time, such as Elfenlied, Higurashi, Air, Kanon, and those, like, you can argue that their animation quality will not live up in today's time, but you cannot deny that their animation quality from episode 1 to the last episode of the series was consistent. Like, these new series, they're not consistent at all. And I think that's the reason why it's so frustrating, because it's just plain obvious. Like, you don't need to have god tier animation, is what I'm saying. You just need to have it to be consistent from episode 1 to the very end. I think this is one of the reasons why the 7 Deadly Sins is like the biggest joke of anime now for season 3 with the Escanor fight. It's because like even though Studio Dean tried their best for like the first couple episodes, you can obviously it just going downhill. Like, everybody's gonna be asking, what's the problem? I think the problem is that they need more time, not more money. That's kind of a biased take, but maybe more money to pay their staff and workers. Yes, that's what I mean. They need more money to pay their staff and workers, but in terms of like time-wise, they need more time to flesh out and work on the production, especially the later episodes, because it's very like very few series nowadays is consistent through and through. I think, like, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of shows that are consistent. Oshinoko Season 2, for example, that was consistent. And there's other shows that was consistent throughout. But, like, when it comes to shows that are, like, what I consider to be underdogs or dark horses or shows that has potential, why is it always the fact that they're not consistent? It drives me nuts. Because I hype these shows up all the time. They just don't stay consistent throughout. Like, literally. Uzumaki, man, I was hyping that show up from when it was announced because I love Junji Ito. Even he's a great guy too, but it's just so frustrating, honestly. But like, I don't have answers. I just have I'm just pointing out the problem here because there's more than just one person to blame when it comes to animation quality going downhill. But I would like to know everybody's overall thoughts though. Like, should we be focusing on just trying to get anime out, or should we be focusing more on less anime, like over time, but better quality shows overall? Because, like it's strange. I feel like the reason, okay, so here's one example I'm going to use. Anime back then only had around 9 to 13 animes per season. So for fall, for example, this current season, fall 2024, if we go back 20 years ago, from fall 2004, there was only about 9 to 13 animes that entire season. Yes, there was that low of animes. And there was less animes, but it was more consistent in the quality of the episodes throughout the entire of the series, you know? Nowadays, there's like 40 to 60 animes per season. Like if we look at the fall anime right now, there is easily 20 to 40 like animes this season. It is double, triple that of what it was back then. Like, I think we should stop like trying to force series to like make anime seasons and more so focus on quality seasons. But that will never happen. And the reason why I say it'll never happen, especially in today's time, is because momentum dies so fast when it comes to anime nowadays. This just can't be denied. Because if you don't hype up your show, or if you don't update it on like a season 2 or something, then your show just gets forgotten because all the other upcoming animes will just wipe it away, wash it away like the river. And I know, and don't even make an argument with me, because you know that's kind of true. Look at Chainsaw Man's anime. Like, even though it is still talked about when it comes to the Chainsaw Man series, it lost a lot of hype from when the anime was airing. Same thing for everything else. Fire Force is one great example. Fire Force's manga, by the way, has an amazing ending. It really wraps everything up. There is no loose threads in Fire Force's manga. Like, that's an amazing series. I cannot wait for it to come back. But everybody understands where I'm coming from, though, right? It's just so frustrating nowadays. I feel like fans, we're eating way too good. Like, we've gotten way too comfortable and way too content with anime nowadays that we kind of forgotten about stuff like the things that came before. Like we should just get a, you know, okay, this is an old memory of mine. This goes back all the way back to 2012. And I said this before and I'll say it again. We should just have like one entire season of just no animes being aired. So that way we can have we can give 3 months to the production staff to actually just focus on creating good stuff. A minimum of 1 season off. That was like 2012. And the reason, and I'll never forget that, because Sword Art Online was just a thing. Even though Sword Art Online came out 2012 of December, I believe, or 2011. It came out December. That's all I remember. But that was over a decade ago, over 10 years ago now. I wish Hyoka had season 2. Hyoka season 2 would never happen. Period. Just read the light novel. JoJo is a unique show. I would not compare 3D with JoJo because I think it works in its favor, if I'm being honest. But back to what I'm saying though. If we're looking at this current anime season, I think the question we need to start asking, us, like ourselves as anime fans, is of all these series that are currently airing, how many of these series will be consistent in animation quality from episode 1 through its last episode throughout the season? This is the question I really would like to, I really want you viewers to take with you as you're watching anime, because I can't be the only person who's noticing like animation quality drop-offs. Sometimes it's very subtle, but sometimes it's very like extremely noticeable. Blue Lock season 2, for example. Like, I know I sound like I'm roasting anime. I'm not. I'm the most passionate person when it comes to anime. I even credit the directing, the staff, and the producers, not just the voice actors in the anime studio. I try to credit everybody because I'm that person. Like nobody gets left out here. But I just don't know where to put my finger on, or where to put my finger at, of this issue and how to solve this issue. Everybody sees the problem and they just want to bash on that problem, but nobody wants to get together and just ask the question of, how do we solve this issue? I don't have the answer. That's the reason why I'm making this live stream for you viewers, is because I really want you viewers to actually think, you know, what do we do from here? I remember about 8 years ago now? 8 to 9 years ago, Japan actually made this survey for anime fans worldwide about what they want, what are the problems with the anime industry, and basically asking about like what can they do to improve it. I remember that. It was crazy. 8 years ago now, was it? 8 or 9 years ago. So it's been a while, but we need to do another one of those surveys. Because this, in my personal opinion, is just going to become more transparent as time comes on, or time goes on. And I'm not going to lie, I actually do think that, bro, that Eugene over, you can't. It was more than. Let's not get there, Mikey. Let's save the jokes for later, because we're having a serious discussion right now. But back to what I'm saying, though, we really got to figure out this consistency issue. If somebody has a solution or an idea of how to tackle this issue, I would really like to hear it in the chat, because I don't have it. I don't think anyone has the answers. Not me at least, but maybe you do. But I would really like it if someday a bunch of the biggest anime influencers and a bunch of people just got together and not argue, but have a civilized discussion about like what's the problem, you know? Because everybody wants to talk about anime quality being dog shit and anime sucking, but nobody wants to discuss about how do we make anime better. I know people say support your anime, buy Blu-rays, you know, support subscription fees for Crunchyroll and things like that to pay animators. That I understand. But us as anime fans, we should also be having discussions about where do we go from here. Because I look at a bunch of anime videos nowadays from YouTubers and just everybody in general, and people just want to do anime breakdowns or just give their honest reviews. Which I do like, but like, there's a hole in anime right now, like a bunch of plot holes, but nobody is talking about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm like the first person that's trying to get to that topic. Because I understand that people want to talk about like what animes are trending or animes they like, but I really just want to talk about how do we make anime better and what can we do as anime fans. And it's easy to say that we should be supporting anime staff production and things like that. That I agree. But we really need to stop trying to just enjoy anime and start looking at the bigger problem here and the future of anime in general. The problem is there's heavy competition and quality of gratitude for the story ending. I actually agree. That is a very valid point there, Mikey. And it really comes back to like everybody has a different angle to look at it. But man, I just don't know. I really just don't know everybody. Like, here's the thing. I never live stream on weekdays. I try not to live stream on weekdays because I work those days. Even today I work. But I will not deny that the reason why I'm making this live stream today is because this question has been bugging my mind towards the very end. Just bad animation quality, inconsistencies, and like, there's more money than ever flowing into this animation industry because anime is much bigger now. But it seems like they just can't get their things together. Am I the only person who's like going nuts thinking that? There's more money coming in, but there's less quality to be spared. I can't be the only person thinking it like that. Because maybe the reason why I'm thinking it like that is because I've been watching anime for way too long. Because look, I have been watching anime forever. Like, literally forever at this point. Most of you were probably not even born yet when I was watching anime, if we're being valid here. But, oh my god, I just can't wrap my head around this issue. I feel like there's just too many ongoing threads, and no one is tying these loose threads together. I don't know. If someday this YouTube channel or me as a YouTuber or me as an individual goes big enough, I would really like to bring in a bunch of bigger anime YouTubers and just sit them down to have a discussion, you know? Just sit and talk. Sit and talk, and that's it. Like, don't fuck around when it comes to talking about what anime is the best, what anime is trending. And let's just talk about, like, what can we do as, you know, what can we do to help? You know, I don't know. I'm going somewhere with this, but I just don't have the answers. Maybe someone in the future will have the answers, but I don't. So I'm praying to God that whoever watches this and whoever sees this, just note that you may be the answer, not me. I'm just the person who notices the problem. Back then, people didn't care about quality. I think the important thing was plot and quality. The thing was plot, and quality was just a thing. But now they're nothing with a unique story rather than graphics. Mikey, I actually kind of disagree on that because your statement kind of contradicts itself. So let me explain. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but you need to understand that people back then, it's just true, they didn't care about quality. But the part I don't really agree with was the fact that they think the important thing was plot. This was not true at all. Anime adaptations back then, a lot of it, even though it was adapted from a source material, a lot of it was also original, and they had their own interpretations and what the studio wanted. So the plot was never one-to-one with the anime, even back then. As a matter of fact, I would even argue that anime adaptations, in terms of adapting from the source material, is even much better today than it was back then. And I'm going to give you some great examples. One great example is Elfen Lied. If you ever read Elfen Lied's manga, it is completely different from the anime. Like the ending. Because you have to understand, back then anime studios didn't really care. They just created anime. So a lot of the times, when it comes to the story beats and things like that, they will do anime originals. Like, they was like, you know what, screw it, we're not gonna follow the plot, we're gonna create our own story and just go from there. And that's what they did with Elfen Lied. They even did that with Fruits Baskets to an extent. The old school Fruits Baskets, that's why. And that's why Fruits Baskets had a remake in 2019. It's because that remake is a more faithful adaptation of the actual source material than the 2001 version was. Because if you go, if you look at your post, Mikey, you're not wrong necessarily, but like, you're also contradicting yourself, because plot was not something that was considered back then. It was more of if you got an anime adaptation, that was it. You got to take it for what it is. Whether it was on point with the source material or not, that was all you got in. This is why anime remakes are so important. Same thing for Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's another great example, by the way. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily quality, you know, that they didn't care about. They really didn't care about the whole medium in general, both plot and quality. They just wanted to create something and put it out there. I mean, people back then just wanted something unique. Okay, that part makes a bit more sense. I actually do agree with that. I think the saturation is way too much. There's a bit, if I'm being honest, there is a bit of too much saturation in terms of plots that are similar or story beats that are too similar to one another. So let us actually get into that discussion real quick. And I guess we'll make this more of the closing topics, because I got to get going at 1-ish. So when it comes to unique anime and unique series, it is becoming more and more rare. That is just pure truth. We can't deny that. But I honestly don't think, well, I do agree with that. I don't know how to feel about that, Mikey. You have a point, but I don't know where I will put it. I want to say it's the sole reason as to why this problem is as big as it is in terms of animation quality and whatnot, but it does tie in as well. I just don't know how to feel about that. I'm not gonna lie though, I do get tired of seeing the same generic stuff getting adapted over and over and over again. Like the overpowered main character and the harems, the isekais. I feel like that's been overdone too many times to where everybody just kind of burned out from it. But this I don't know how to feel. I will say this though. I think in terms of like adaptations of those type of genres, I really just don't know how to feel about that. Because some isekais are actually pretty decent, but a lot of them are pretty whack. Not so great is what I'm saying. But I just don't know. I just don't know, man. Studios are hiring expensive animators and focusing on it than on ending or plot. That part is kind of true. Oh, that is kind of true. I'll give you that one. That's kind of true. But animation is hard. Obviously, animation is hard. But it is cool to hear that about your father, Mikey. I think that's really nice of him. I'm just sitting here because I have more questions than answers now. But I guess I'll, you know what, I gotta get going in a little bit, everybody. So I apologize that I'm gonna cut this stream a little bit short. But I hope that the next time I live stream another anime live stream, I really would like to see or hear from other people's opinions about what they think of the current animation quality and the consistency overall. Not the like how high animation can be, but just the overall consistency from episode 1 to the last episode. On, is it consistent, or is it, or are you seeing what I'm seeing? But I really hope that everyone who is watching this will someday find the answer to this problem, because I just don't know. I love anime as much as everybody else, but I just don't have the answers. So whenever I do another anime live stream, which my next live stream is probably just gonna be a chill live stream, I guess. But the next anime live stream discussion, we'll get more into that topic. But without further ado, everybody, I do want to thank everybody for watching today's live streams. And yeah, I gotta get going. And with that, that's really about it. See you.